Dr. C.V. Ananda Bose, IAS, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. Shakespeare has said, sweet are the uses of adversity. I think that is precisely what we see in India during the COVID menace. India has shown to the whole world that if there is a resilience, if there is determination, if there is agility, we can conquer any malady the way we want. In fact, it is Romain Rolland, who said about India, the Indian resilience. He said, if there is any place on earth where the dreams of humanity has found a home, that is India. Yes, that is India even today. See, for instance, in the Bible about Jesus Christ, it is said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? We know Jesus has come. Can anything good come out of COVID? That has been the moot question. We have seen so many good things which are coming out of this. In fact, it is possible. You stressed on the word positive. So there is a lot of negativity around us. That is what makes us feel that there is nothing positive in a negative state of affairs. There is. If I may make my ideas more clear, there is this beautiful anecdote from the life of a botanist. He was touring the jungles of Africa with his students. A beautiful flower came to his attention. Enamored of its beauty, he went forward to pluck it. Suddenly he found the petals of the beautiful flower flew off in different directions. Then, adding to his wonder and dismay, he found that these were not the beautiful petals of a beautiful flower. They were a set of ugly insects which flew off in different directions. And then these ugly insects again fly back and converge onto another point, and a beautiful flower is born. This transformation from ugliness to beauty, this transformation from the negative to the positive, if possible, if there is a strong bond, if there is a strong focus, if there is a central point to which we can converge. When the people of India converge, the central point that is called the Indianism, the essential Indianism, we found this transformation, this metamorphosis of negativity into positivity. And now come to the specifics of this. Where are the positive aspects of COVID that we find around us? Where we do not is the counter question. Take, for instance, a family. See, we had a strong family tradition. The father, the mother, the grandfather, the grandmother, the uncles, the siblings, the cousins, all these meant for us a great deal. But somehow, our family traditions crumbled down because of our exposure to the West, where the nuclear families rule the roost. Now, the unseen COVID has made us sit in the home to enjoy the comforts of the home. We realized the value of relations. We started respecting the old woman called the mother, who ran this country, who ran this great country of 135 crores during lockdown. The illiterate and semi-literate mothers, we realized the value of the mother. We realized the value of the Mama's kitchen. Yes, the kitchen cabinet ran this country. Familial relationship came back. Kindness, affection, love, forgiveness, all these things we started rediscovering. India rediscovered itself. India rediscovered its culture. India rediscovered its family tradition. And number two, I stay in a place in Delhi, Lutyens Delhi. People say this is a place for VVIPs. Now I go look at the street in front of me, almost deserted. Earlier I used to see the movement of motorcades of VVIPs with the police escort. Now the only VVIP in Delhi street is COVID. We cannot see him, but he is a VV. He rules the roost. He decides. So in nature, I see birds chirping in my house, around my house. I see small creatures on the streets of Delhi. This is not only in Delhi. Even animals start prodding the streets in various cities now. It is theirs. It is we who are the predators into what belong to the animals and birds. They have come back. Birds, bees, and butterflies are there. And NASA says, Indian scientists say that 70% of Delhi's pollution has come down. How? I do not see much vehicles on the road. There is very less emission of carbon monoxide. And in China, where this COVID is stated to have born in Wuhan, there, the emission of carbon dioxide in the air is less by 25%. So what does it all mean? COVID has its good effects. COVID has taught us to go back to our roots. COVID has taught us to the importance of going back to the basics. I think there are a lot of positive signs for COVID. Yes, the only thing, COVID has taught us a lot of lessons. Yes, Mr. Goel, I think there is one lesson. We should teach COVID. That lesson is quit India. And we know how to do it. I will come back to it point by point, answering your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. And you have given a slogan for the coronavirus, that is the Quit India. And you have mentioned very clearly that India is a very, very traditional country, and we always have the values of the family values, where the grandparents, the grandchildren, the parents, the uncles, the cousins, they all used to stay together. But because of the Western culture, impact of the Western culture, we have adopted the nuclear family. But now, because of the COVID, we all are staying together. Now we came to know the value of the families. So that is a very, very positive impact. And secondly, he says about the pollution, the pollution level has come down heavily. About 70% pollution has come down even in Delhi. So that is also a very, very positive sign. And thirdly, about the nature, about the birds, about the animals, because they were ruling earlier. We, the human being, have created that type of problem so that they have to leave, but now they are freely roaming here and there. This is the positive impact of COVID. And in last, he says that we have only to do one thing, that we should say quit India to the coronavirus or the COVID. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving the opening remark. Now, my question to you is, do you think Atmanirbhar Bharat is one of the positive impact of COVID-19?
Yes, necessity is the mother of invention. It always has been. Whether Atmanirbhar Bharat is the answer. Before that, let me point my finger positively at our neighbors, Japan. See, after the destruction, after the Second World War, when Japan started its process of modernization, the samurai, they came forward. Samurai is a feudal race which are enjoying special privileges in society for centuries. They came forward and voluntarily sacrificed special privileges. They worked with the ordinary people. Where is Japan now? There is one person, Akio Morita, whom we should never forget. Akio Morita, the civil engineer with no money in his hand. Like the character of in the short story, Man with Perfect Face and No Profession. Akio Morita was that. He had only dreams. He hit upon the idea of electronics. No one knew at that time what is electronics, what is the need for electronics. Now, the world cannot live without electronics. Sony Corporation first was born in the mind of Akio Morita. Then they conquered the world. Number two, they found an opportunity in a threat. See, when the Vietnamese war was going on, the American ships will go to Vietnam loaded with supplies for the military and will return without anything, empty. The Japanese found an opportunity in this. They said, why don't you come through the harbors of Japan? We will load something or the other into it. The shipping companies thought, well and good, at least that something is better than nothing. Let us send something. Then they loaded one by one. And also the small, little, unknown, sleek cars, Japanese cars. In America, they wanted only Lincoln Continental and all those big cars. When the sleek beauties came on the streets of America, they wanted only Japanese cars. See how a calamity was turned into an opportunity. Similarly, a worse situation comes from Vietnam. So now we compare India to Vietnam because the companies from China which are seeking a relocation, their favorite destination is Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and of course, India. Look at the Vietnamese. See, for them, it is a worse war than the Corona war. The enemy was very, very powerful. America was their enemy. How did they win? I had the opportunity to go at the place and see the places after the war, of course. Kuchi tunnels. The Kuchi tunnel tribals, they built 270 kilometers of tunnels. For 18 long years, they lived inside the tunnel, locked in. We are crying about locked in for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. 18 years, it is self-imposed, locked in by them. They fought the enemy. The Americans came there. They looked around. Where is the enemy? Enemy is inside the tunnel. Enemy is not seen. The same situation. We don't see the enemy now. Then the American Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief, a bullet pierced his heart. Before he was taken in the stretcher, he said, I would love to shake hands with the general of the opposite army. See, that is the way the Kuchi tribals fought. They fought at the enemies fought an unseen warriors. Therefore, if Vietnam can achieve it, if Japan can achieve it, India can also achieve it. Now, coming back to the specific question, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Doesn't it sound familiar? Isn't it the same thing with the father of the nation told us? Swaraj, Gram Swaraj, self-reliant villages. We have now realized the present Prime Minister of India has a sagacity to see the wisdom of what it is. Yes, it is going to be Atmanirbhar Bharat because we are speaking in a globalized context. So from globalization, liberalization, privatization, during globalization, what did we see? We see the entire system failing. A new system, of course, came. As Tennyson said, the old order changeth, yielding place to the new. What is globalization? Capital comes from country A. Production takes place in country B. Labor comes from country C. And marketing comes from nobody knows where. From dependence through independence, we reached a stage of interdependence. Now, it is back again. We need independence, we need intradependence. That is where the Prime Minister found that in India, instead of depending on imports, instead of depending on foreign investors, of course we need investors, on foreign money invested elsewhere, instead of depending on goods produced elsewhere, we thought we have the investment, otherwise we'll invite investment. We have the manpower, we have the raw materials, we have the skill. Why not we produce itself? And one step ahead. All this come in quick, fleeting succession. Sometime back he said, make in India. Now from the ramparts or Red Fort he said, make for the world. See, Atmanirbhar Bharat does not mean self-reliant India, which will produce enough for India. It is a self-reliant India, which will produce for the whole world. When we say Vasathavya Kudumbakam, we are having an economic application of this here. When we produce for the world, Atmanirbhar Bharat, the state, that is India, the nation, has to be self-reliant. The states and union territories have to be self-reliant. The districts have to be self-reliant. Rural areas have to be self-reliant. Villages have to be self-reliant. Individuals have to be self-reliant. Yes, it is such a broad concept which is embedded in this concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat. What is it that we don't have? See, for making India Atmanirbhar, only two aspects are required. One, the can-do factor. The second, the will-do factor. The can-do factor is always there. We have built, we have the heavy industries. We are an answer to the whole world. Now, it is the Indian technicians, Indian engineer who goes outside the country and builds up those countries. So the can India do? Yes, India can. Now, will India do? That was the question. That was the question. India did not show the willpower for a long, long time. We were like Hamlet, to be or not to be. Now, there's a determinate government in the state, in the whole country, which says India will. What does it mean? If we have to show the willpower, the political will should be there, number one. This political should be reflected in the policies and programs and legislation. That willpower is there. And the third, that's the most important, the individual willpower. You may illustrate the point by taking 1 minute. Again, I will come back to India's culture and tradition and link it with the modern day requirements. You see, we have the concept of a goddess. Her name is Tatha Astu. Tatha Astu means, yes, let it be. Like when our Christian brothers pray, they say Amen, which means let it be so. Tatha astu also means let it be so. This tatha astu resides in your forehead. When you set out for something, if your mind says, yes, I can do this, I will do this, she will also say, Tatha astu, let it be so. If you say, oh, I can't do this, I don't have the resources, I don't have the experience, I don't have the manpower, I don't have the money, she will say, Tatha astu. You decide whether you win or lose. That is why it is said, in the Bible, if you have faith unto a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Muhammad, what did Muhammad say? Prophet Muhammad? If the mountain does not come to Muhammad, Muhammad will go to the mountain. So our grandmothers are right. Where there is a will, there is a way. In India, there is a will, there is a way. We know the way, we go the way, we show the way. That is my interpretation of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving the details about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. I am sure our viewers got the very clear picture of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which you have given in very, very good details. Now, my next question is, which is coming in the mind of everyone today, and that is a very important question, is what is the positive impact on Indian economy? Because everybody is talking today, the media is reporting the Indian economy is going down, the GDP is taking a hit. IMF says 4.5% and whatnot, that it's going negative. But according to you, what is the positive impact on Indian economy?
There again, Mr. Goel, if I may go in a lighter way, I think that can perhaps illustrate the grave issues like this in a more palatable way. Even at the sake of repetition, pardon me, see, there was Ratan Tata, who took his executives with their family for an outing. He does it every year. Whenever the profit and loss account is released and he gets profit, he doesn't forget those who made profit for him. So all the senior executives in the family. But once they decided to come to Kerala, God's own country, and there is a lake there, Nayar Dam Reservoir. That is the time when crocodiles from the nearby crocodile farm were let loose into the reservoir. Not many people knew this. The family team went for a boating in that same reservoir. And Ratan spotted crocodiles there. Somebody explained what happened. Crocodiles have been released in numbers into the reservoir. So he hit upon an idea. He said, anyone who can swim across this reservoir will get a reward of 10 crores of rupees. Naturally, very tempting offer, but crocodiles are down below. Suddenly they found the chief finance officer, chartered accountant. He jumps inside the river, crocodiles chase him, he swims ahead, and he reaches the other side, safe and sound. Everybody congratulated him. Everybody congratulated his courage. But he was heard shouting at his wife, tell me, why did you push me into this first? That's what they say. Behind every successful man, there's a woman. Let that be. We are all pushed into this. Indian economy is now in the crocodile reservoir. Who pushed us into it? The unseen COVID pushed us into it. We have to swim. There is no other way. We have to swim. And when we are swimming for our life, we will certainly win. The crocodile cannot overtake you because the crocodile attacks you because of it wants its food. But we want our life. When we are doing something for the life, difference can be seen. Therefore, I feel Indian economy is going for an upswing. And there are economic reasons for saying this. I'm not an economist. I'm just a bureaucrat. As T.S. Eliot said, I am no Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. I am an attendant lord. Similarly, I say I am no economist, nor was meant to be. I am just a civil servant. Therefore, I quote the economist, Raghuram Rajan, Geeta Govinath, and of course, our own RBI governor, who happens to be a younger brother of mine in the service, IAS officer. And Abhijit Banerjee, Nobel laureate. What do they say? Raghuram Rajan is optimistic. He said, commenting on he said that India can survive this. in his interview to the opposition leader, Rahul Gandhi, he said India can survive this. And second, the question whether India is capable of giving the universal minimum wages, universal minimum income. Everyone says no, India's economy can think of it only after we reach the 5 trillion. No. He said for 6 months, India can. 65,000 crores is what is required for this. India can. I'm sure the COVID is not going to last for longer than that. Again, in the lighter vein, you know why I'm so emphatically saying COVID is not going to last for long? Because anything which comes from China will not last long. Anyway, let it be whatever. And now to the Geeta Govinath. Geeta Govinath, of course, she's from India, she's from Kerala. She's a chief economist of the IMF. She said, yes, slowdown will be there. Recession may be there. Depression, can't say. So it's not all that bad. Not everything is lost. See, as Ulysses says, not everything is lost. The unconquerable will and courage never to submit or yield, but to overcome. So far as we have the will, the economists are saying India can survive. And depression. What is wrong is depression comes. You see, India has the resilience. Nothing is going to affect us. You are aware of the recession in 2008. America was shivering under the name recession. Europe, G20 countries, they came forward. What did India do? In India, the finance secretary called the banking chairman and said, this should not be there. India had a strong public sector banking system, and we could survive that when others failed. Now, India can certainly do that. That is why the economists are saying, and depression. We are on depression. The worst that can happen is depression. That has not happened. It may happen, even if it happens. What is the difference? Truman was once asked, what is the difference between recession and depression? The simplest definition is this. He said, when your neighbor loses his job, that is recession. When you lose your job, that is depression. I think that's the simplest definition of this. India is not going to have a depression. Why do we anticipate? Therefore, this is a passing phase. This passing phase, India will overcome by properly laid out policies, by efficient implementation, by the resilience of the people. And we have an eye on the global market. We know how to catch the opportunities. The old India, we are disparaging. Not the older India, not the oldest India, the old India. 200 years of British rule, we lost our punch. I agree. But before that, before Harvard was born, before the management principles of the West was there, you know, Mr. Goel, India contributed to 25% of the GDP of the whole world. How? We have the native intelligence. We have the resilience. Our forefathers had the way of doing business, ethical business. Satyam Bada, Dharmam Jara. The world is going to see now how clean business is going to be there. We are going to be the leaders. Our economy will improve. Of course, it will slow down for some time. That is also required. We don't want a zooming economy all the time because then we will not readjust. We will relearn, redo. We will do the re-engineering. India will certainly emerge like the phoenix from the temporary economic slowdown, and we will come out in flying colors. That is what I have to say for the Indian economy of the future. Thank you.
We will come out with the flying colors, says Dr. Bose, for the Indian economy. And he has explained in such a way, although he says it's a lighter vein, but the examples which Dr. Bose has given can be understood by almost all the viewers easily. And because this is a very complex issue, and it is always everywhere, whenever there is a discussion, where there is a party, whether people are talking to each other, they just one topic about the Indian economy. And now Dr. Bose has clarified, and he has given the examples. And according to him, yes, it's a temporary phase, but it will pass off. India will emerge a very, very strong country economically. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for clarifying this, because when I planned for this program, the first question came in my mind was only about the Indian economy, how you are going to defend and how you will show the positive impact. But the way you have mentioned about the positiveness, I'm sure the Indian economy will definitely be positive. And there are signs. The report says that our exports have started picking up, which is a very, very positive sign. And now once the lockdown will be eased out, more and more business opportunities will be there, then definitely our economy will go up. Even I can mention about this on the 14th of August, I was told that in Rajasthan, many of the hotels were full because their Rajasthan government and has allowed the tourism, and the people have started moving. So it shows the positive sign of the economy, and that is a very, very important thing. And I'm sure the viewers will also understand, and they should also change their mindset, think that there is a positive aspect of Indian economy, because if we will think positively, definitely the result will be also positive. Now, my next question to you is, what positive impact on vocal for local? Our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has mentioned this word, this terminology, vocal for local. And what we are seeing today, yes, there is coming, this is becoming a slogan for the Indian industries, MSMEs, as well as the rural economy. But we want to know from you, what is actually the positive impact on vocal for local?
See, Goel sir, when the world was created, as per the Bible, it is paradise. Only Adam and Eve were there. There was no business there, no industry there, nothing was there. They were very happy. Then the science of economics began there. How? Satan came and persuaded Eve. You pluck the fruit of the forbidden tree. She plucked, she ate. I would say even before economics and industry, it is advertisement which began there. Because God said, this is a forbidden fruit, don't eat it. There was no demand for that. There then came the advertiser, Satan. Satan convinced the woman, this is good for you. That is what advertisers do even now. It is positively bad. Satan knew it, but he made the woman believe this is good. And she persuaded the man. So first, I think, the first business which came up was in the unexpected area of paradise, the business of advertisement. And number two, suddenly they had a sense of shame. And they looked for clothes, there is no cloth there. They had to hide the shame with the fig leaves. The demand for fig leaves went up. Science of economics began there. So whenever there is an adversity, whenever there is chaos, whenever there is nothing, don't think that everything is lost. We should be able to see what others could not see. Therefore, when we say, be vocal, be for local, that is there. There was only one product available there at that time. Local product, fig leaf. Both of them became vocal for local. So vocal for local is a basis of industrial growth, business growth. And now coming to India, isn't it the right thing for us to do? See, we have the competence to produce a variety of things in this country. Right from fighter planes to fighter ships, down to safety pins we can produce here. And otherwise we have the manpower. We send our manpower to the other countries to move the engines of growth there. Why can't we do it here? Every village in India has enough to produce for itself and also to the whole nation. Therefore, when we say vocal for local, yes, we produce, but where is the market? See, look at the great handicrafts that we have. Look at the traditional crafts that we have. Who built the Taj Mahal? Who built the Red Fort? Who built our temples? Who built our palaces? See, our Vishwakarmas did it. Our artisans did it. Our carpenter or mason, they did it. You see, who won the war? Who made the weapons? It is the blacksmiths of India who made the weapons. Where were they? Not in the factories. They were in the villages. The villages, India's destiny is shaped in the villages. That is why Gandhiji said, India lives in your villages. Therefore, our village industry, cottage industry, and supersonic industries. And now even IT. Who said IT is something which calls for such things like the IT hubs and IT parks? Who said this? Now IT is becoming a cottage industry. From the garage, many of these in the big IT firms started from the garage. The thought is in your mind. And now even IT is going to be a cottage industry in India. I had recently participated in a meeting of businessmen and economists from the United States. They are saying that India, best opportunity for India as a cottage industry lies, as a cottage industry in the world lies in India. Therefore, when we say be vocal for local, otherwise we produce, we do not market. We are told that the products which come from the factories abroad are better than our product. We believe it. We import it. When we have our own stuff here, better stuff. So how develop some faith in the country, faith in our artisans, faith in our tradition, faith in our industry, faith in our cottage sector, MSME. You see, MSME is the one area which is going to give a fillip to our economic growth. That is why in the 20 lakh crore stimulus package, 3 lakh crores are set apart for the MSME. This will be over either till the time the 3 lakhs is dispersed or 31st of October. That is the date which is given. Therefore, we are giving capital is there, labor is there, that is manpower is there, raw material is there, marketing is there. Now, look at the opportunities given in the agriculture sector. See, the refrigerated trains are crisscrossing the country so that the agricultural produce will not go waste. And Kisan Udans are there so that our agricultural produce can go outside the country, export can be done. It's an integrated approach at the policy level that has been taken. Therefore, we will produce quality stuff. We will produce enough stuff. We will produce enough for the world. Therefore, rightly, confidently, strongly, let us be vocal for local. That is going to be India's panacea for the present ills. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving the details about the vocal for local, and you have analyzed it in a very, very thorough way, starting from the Adam and Eve. And you say that is why how the market has been created. But the first industry, according to, is the advertisement industry. It's a news to me also, but it's a very nice thing that yes, when we are advertising, when we are talking, we should also think of our own industries, the cottage industries, the handloom industry, as well as those who are working day and night. And you rightly said, all top monuments were constructed, made by the artisans from India only. They have not come from out. So when we are, and at one time, India was called Sone ki Chidiya. So why not we come back to the same thing, and what our Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned about the be vocal for local is, it means that try to use the produce by our own people, either from rural or from the industry, the MSMEs. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving the details. Now, my question is a bit different, and that is, what positive impact of COVID-19 on Constitution of India?
Well, it is the Canadian Premier, Lester B. Pearson, who said, it is easy to frame a constitution, but difficult to make it work. For India, it is not a difficult task to frame the constitution because we have all the experts there. And of course, symbolized by Ambedkar. We have an excellent constitution, detailed constitution. But how to make it work? See, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. See, everybody is level on the safe on the level ground. But when there is an uphill task that you are put to test, COVID has put the constitution to test. Constitution has been tried, tested, and found to be effective. I have a few reasons for saying this. Federalism. We thought we had a very loose federalism, where the state governments fight against the central government. The state governments disobey the central government. No. The COVID has shown that our federalism is strong. Indian federalism has been at its strongest point during the COVID period. The Prime Minister decides, of course, in consultation with the chief ministers. He is the generalissimo, the supreme commander. The supreme commander decides, and all the commanders of the states and union territories are there. With drawn swords, they are there. Indian constitution worked as a machinery which is well oiled and fighting fit. Look at America. Not to disparage them. There, what Trump says in the press conference is not applicable to the governors of various states. You have one dispensation in New York because the governor thinks in a particular way. You fly down to Washington, it's another dispensation there. But in India, the center takes decision in consultation with the states. Once the decision is made, it is implemented. If some changes are required by the states, they approach the central government to the constitutional provisions, and it is done. Therefore, we have been moving like a trained army. And second, our public administration, when the All India Service has made the IAS, IPS and all, Sardar Patel, he was told by his own colleagues, these ICS officers, they signed our arrest warrant, teach them a lesson. Patel said, no, let me learn a lesson from them. He changed its module. The Indian Civil Service became Indian IAS and various other services were constituted. Every day, Patel and of course Jawaharlal Nehru, they would go to the IAS training school. At that time, it is called IAS training school. It is in Delhi on the banks of Yamuna on the beautiful Metcalfe House. Once, addressing the young probationers of the first batch, Patel said, we will give you everything. We will give you everything. Power, position, creature comforts, respect, everything. But one thing, you should implement our policies. He was asked only two things from them. Be nice and courteous to the common man, number one. Number two, never, ever be corrupt. Now coming back to the COVID days. We thought Indian administration is full of corruption. Yes, there is corruption. But when it came to deliver, the Indian public administration, right from the policeman to the cabinet secretary, right from the politician to the prime minister, right from the health workers to the industrialist, everybody stood together. India has a strong public administration which will implement the constitution. So the conceptually we are right, practically we are strong. India has proved it. Then our public utility services. See the public health. Where are we? See other countries which claim to have the most posh and the most well-equipped hospitals and healthcare systems. Where are they? And where are we? We have proven to the whole world. We have a public health system and a dynamic and vibrant one, buoyant one. See, we did not have even PPE, personal protection equipment. We had to import it from the country which exported COVID also, China. Now, India is the second largest producer of this in the world. Tell me, does the constitution work? Does the public health system work which is under the constitution? We have an excellent system here. Of course, we had given the go by to efficiency. Corruption was there at one period. But when it comes to delivering, there we are one. India has shown its efficiency. And Indian industry, where is the so-called recession here? MSMEs, at one point of time, they said 49% of the MSMEs will have to close down. Then government came with far-reaching result-oriented policies. Now they are saying it may come down to 15%, maybe 25%. Even that will be plugged, So, public administration is efficient. Public policies are efficient. And then people used to criticize us. You have rules and regulations, but you don't implement it. You are a soft state. Are we a soft state now? Look at the policemen on the street. Are they not better than London bobbies? Are they thugs or rogues as they are pictured out to be, especially in the movies? They have suddenly changed to public servants, service-oriented policemen. on the street, 24/7, they are there. Now tell me, is Indian public administration, Indian constitution, is it good or bad? I remember a rich friend of mine rang me from Australia. He said he is standing in the queue, for what? For bread and for toilet paper. Because there is no public distribution system there. Everything is privatized. In India, we have a parallel public distribution system. Therefore, India has to go back into its roots and see the strength which is there within us. We have a strength which is there within us. Indian constitution will survive. Indian constitution has emerged as the most practical, most efficient constitution, which has at the cutting edge level, proves its mettle. Therefore, I think this is a point of rediscovery for us. We rediscovered ourselves. The whole world discovered India. That is why Amartya Sen, who always used to criticize the present Prime Minister, that of course is his prerogative. I'm not competent to enter into that. But he said, complimenting the India for the proactive steps taken to combat coronavirus. He said, before the other world leaders, India could understand the implications of COVID. See, a good ruler means a person who is forewarned and forearmed. India as a nation was forewarned and forearmed. Now, can anybody say, looking at the Constitution of India, that this is a constitution which does not deliver? India delivers. Indian people delivers. Indian constitution delivers. India is going to rule the world. Indian constitution is going to be the beacon light for democracy in the future.
Indian constitution will be the beacon light for the democracy in the future, says Dr. Bose. And he has explained how the Indian constitution is working positively during this COVID-19 pact. And he says that earlier there was allegations on the bureaucracy about the corruption, etc. But during the COVID-19, everyone has seen how everyone worked, whether it is a bureaucracy, the industry, or whatnot. And he also mentioned about the police force. Earlier, the police force were called thugs or the cheats and whatnot. But today, everybody is praising Indian police. And yes, the public perception, which was almost 27% before the COVID, has now reached 70%. And I'm sure the time will not be far when we will say 100% our police is the most honest and most dutiful police services in the world. Now, and he also mentioned about that how the Prime Minister, in consultation with all the opposition or all the chief minister, whether they are opposition or of the same ruling party, then only he take the decisions in consultation with them, and then those decisions are implied on the country. And that is the beauty of Indian constitution, which has been shown during the COVID-19. So it's a very, very positive impact on constitution. Now I would like to know from you, I am going to the very controversial topic now, and that is, what is the positive impact on religion?
Well, it is said, when politics invades religion, there is chaos. When the religion invades politics, there is refinement. But now, unfortunately, we see around the converse is happening. All religions are meant to unite people. Religions, whichever course it takes, they are like rivulets which empty themselves into the river, which ultimately empties itself in the ocean. The ultimate destination is one. The course may be different. But now we find that instead of uniting people, religion is used to vitiate people. This is a recent phenomenon here. This certainly is not India. This is certainly not the Indianness. In India, all religions were existing here, shoulder to shoulder. See, India is said to be a crucible of cultures. Why? There is only one religion here or one way of living here. All other religions came from abroad. India received them with both hands. Both hands. See, whether it is the Semitic religions who came here, or other religions, or religions who sprang up from here, Has India ever been known for religious intolerance? But a decadence came. That decadence came with the British rule. That decadence came with the foreign invasion. They wanted to divide and rule. Therefore, we were first divided on the basis of religion. Then, independent India was divided on the basis of language. Yes, linguistic states was opposed even at that time. In fact, there are strong votaries even within the Congress party, the ruling party at that time. They said, divide India into 4 or 400, but not on the basis of language, but on the basis of administrative convenience. But we avoided it. Now, coming back to religion. See, COVID has united us. Because COVID has no religion. Maybe after 6 months, I tell you, there will be political parties here. Leftist to COVID, rightist to COVID. It may happen. It may happen. But in the minds of the people, since communalism begins in the minds of the people, it is in the minds of the people that defenses against it are to be built. Who are the communalists here? Who are the secularists here? See, India is secular. The majority is secular. The majority is secular not because there isn't a constitution. It is there in the constitution of each one of us. We are taught by our parents not to hate on the basis of religion. It has always been an Amar Akbar Antony regime, which India has. Rekapati Raghava Raja Ram, Padit Pavana Sita Ram. Then Ishar Allah Tera Naam, Sabko Samadhi De Bhagavan. That Samadhi has come from where? Unseen COVID. See, when somebody falls on the road, when somebody is admitted to the hospital, it is a Muslim doctor who treats an Indian as a Hindu or a Christian. It's a doctor and a nurse. It's not Christian and Hindu. This division on the basis of communalism is only in the rotten minds of the political hawks. Certainly not in the minds of the people. They try to give them religious opium. You see, Marx said religion is the opiate of the people. That is a philosophy. It's a distant dream. How about Lenin? Lenin added to that. Lenin said, if you are a communist has to necessarily be an atheist, he said. Now, coming to the practical side, he was once told by Chekhov, Vladimir Chekhov, he was a leader of the peasants, a farmer, rich farmer. He was a friend of Lenin. He told Lenin, we farmers don't have faith in your Soviet administration. Lenin at that time, he was a potentate. No one will dare talk to him like that. And Lenin asked him, why? Chekhov told him, the field will not give us a harvest if we sow your doctrine. We should give seeds, fertilizer, manure, money. And Lenin was impressed by that. He told Chekhov, you head the Commissariat of Agriculture, that is the Minister of Agriculture. Chekhov said, no, I cannot. Why? Because I'm a believer, I go to church. Then the statesman in him came. The Indian politicians should learn from that. The hardcore Marxist who said a communist has to be an atheist, he said, believers can also take part in the prosperity of the state. Not only Chekhov, other believers also were made into the government. Now see, is religion the obstacle? Is the way you approach religion. See, religion is used for political maneuvering. In India, the nation is secular. Hindus are secular. Muslims, Christians, all those who came here, the ordinary people are secular. Not because it is in the constitution. It is there in the constitution of an individual. Vasudhaiva Kudumbaka. There is negligible section of society who support terrorism, who support communalism, who divide society for political gains. People will discover them. COVID has taught us to see the anti-India, foreign funded sources. They cannot call the tune here. India will call the tune. See, it is said, he who pays the piper will call the tune. In Indian politics, there are foreign pipers who pay them. They call the tune. Therefore, this terrorism, this onslaught into India's secular fabric will go. Nobody has taught us. And I would say, assertingly say, India is not communal. The majority is not communal. India believes in secularism. India practices secularism. India does not believe in rationalism. All others are a myth, which is calculated to undermine the strength of India's democratic fabric. India should realize that. India has realized. COVID has taught us we are brothers. We are brothers. We stood together, we worked together, and we will go like that. Along with COVID, the world's enemy, along with the unseen COVID, the unseen communalism will also be buried in the post-COVID days in India. The new generation wants to live in peace. New generation deserves to live in harmony. We cannot block their way. I think that is what is going to happen. New generation will see India again comes back to its Vasudhaiva Kudambaka days, where we are all brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving the answer of the most controversial topic, because everybody thinks that the religion is such a thing which no one should talk about. But the way you have explained, it really goes in the mind of everyone, because you have mentioned that the religion is not to hate each other. It's a matter of how you will cooperate with each other. And you have mentioned that India is a secular country. It was a secular country. It is a secular country. It will remain secular. It is not because of the constitution, because it is of our own individual hearts, and we have the secularism from inside. And you said it's a few of the people in India who wants to create this hate mongering and to follow the principle of the Britishers, the divide and rule. But otherwise, the religion is never for this. And you have given the example for the COVID-19, and you said very clearly, when a patient goes to a hospital, whether the doctor is a Hindu or Muslim, or the nurse is a Christian or any other religion, nobody bothers. They only know the relationship as a doctor or a nurse or a patient. And this is what India stands for. And according to him, this young generation will definitely now understood very clearly what is the meaning of religion, and they will not go and for anything which will divide the country or divide and hate anyone, the neighbor. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving such a very, I must say, you have given the answer in such a way that our viewers will definitely understood what you mean to say. And that is the only message which you have seen, is that India is the positive impact of the COVID-19 in India on the religion is that now people have forgotten what happened pre-COVID. Now everyone is one. Their main aim is one enemy, that is the COVID. And now they understood that if we will divide ourselves, then we can't save, because we don't know the doctor where we are going to the hospital is which religion, whether if he is not of our religion, is not he going to save us? He is going to save us. So according to your religion, there is a positive impact of COVID-19 even on religion. Now, when we are talking about the doctors, although you have mentioned few things, but still I would like to know what positive impact on healthcare services in India. Although you have mentioned that India's health services pre-COVID was not up to the mark like other Western countries. But what we have seen, whether it's Italy or Europe or UK, where always everybody claims that they're having the best services, the mortality rate too high. And in India, the mortality rate is very low. Why? What is the reason? And what was the COVID-19 impact on the healthcare services? Dr. Bose, please.
3 cheers to the Indian medical fraternity. I would say that the Indian medical fraternity, the doctors, the nurses, the paramedics, and others, they have stolen the thunder. Yes, deservedly too. They are the heroes of the hour, deservedly too. See, a country which was said to be having only inadequate machinery and infrastructure for healthcare, how beautifully, how quickly, how swiftly they have risen to world standards, even excelling that. See, the service-mindedness and the professional competence of the medical fraternity has come to the fore. No one knew that there was so much of potential in that. We knew our doctors, our engineers, and our paramedics, our nurses are all good. You go to America, you go to Europe, any hospital boasts of the nurses from India, particularly from Kerala. And the doctors, see, they have proved themselves everywhere in the world. But when an opportunity came here, you see, each doctor has become turned to himself. Each medical man has turned to himself. Each nurse has turned to herself into a one-man army. That is what happened here. And so much of dedication. Systems did not improve. No new legislation came. No new medical scheme came. From within whatever was there, they made. See, we expected only a flower from them. They gave us a garden. That is the kudos to the medical fraternity. Now this is an opening for us. Why do we go? May I ask the senior leaders of every state in India over the years? See, when the politicians have an illness, they go abroad. And there, to be treated by the Indian doctors there. For the common man, they say, okay, be with the public health service here. But even there, and with so much of restrictions, so much of constraints, so much of procedural wrangles, so much of apathy by the bureaucracy. See, look at the way they have delivered. What is it that you want? Earlier, we used to say, laughing at the doctors, laughing at the medical profession, in a lighter vein. See, if you fall ill, you should go to your doctor and he should prescribe medicine for you, because the doctor should leave. You should go and buy the medicine because the pharmacist should leave. But you shouldn't consume the medicine because you should leave. That is what we used to say about the doctors. Now see, they are risen to the occasion. All the knowledge which is embedded in them has come out. So save life. See, every doctor, every medical man, I have not taken the statistics, he would have saved at least 10 to 100 lives. Can any general do that? Can any administrator do that? See, it's when you get an opportunity, when you get a challenge, you see the material behind them. And the nurses, I do not know what words to use to praise them. See, they're all called angels in white and all, everything is there. Right from each nurse here has proved to be a Florence Nightingale. And the ASHA workers, when we say healthcare, it covers the entire gamut of activities. We have now proved. Your first question about economy, may I tell you, Indian economy is going to sprout. Indian economy is going to push through. Indian economy is going to smash in the health sector. India is going to be the health hub of the world. See, places like Kerala, which has come to be a model by itself. It is a brand by itself. And Bangalore, many other places. India can emerge as a health hub of the world. Yes, and I would say, in the education policy, we are asked to set up world-class institutions elsewhere. Why not? Why not market India's competence in healthcare, especially public healthcare system? In conducting elections, many of the African countries are taking people from India to conduct. They don't know. They did not know how to conduct health, but now they know because Indians went and did this. Similarly, how to guard your health, public health. I'm not saying private hospitals are there; they don't need our help, but public health system in the world is going to be built up by Indian doctors, Indian medical men, Indian administrators, and India is going to emerge as an economic superpower mainly because the world has now started seeing India as a convincing brand in healthcare. I think certainly kudos to the doctors. Now we need more funds to be given, more research should be there. See, India has built up the vaccine. I can say that because I'm a retired person. Of course, because some statutory requirements, it may take some time. But the Pune Virology Institute has developed the vaccine. Who did that? Now it has to be administered. Research has to be given more focus in the medical sector. And one more thing, there should not be untouchability among the various medical sectors. We can't say only modern medicine is good. But how about the Ayush system? The Ayush system, see, which believes in building of immunity. It is the immunity which was built up because of our traditional practices. In the world over, more than 60% still rely on native medicine. Even in China, even in America, 50%. are relying on this ancillary native medicine. So let's not wish them away. Let the medical field rediscover itself. Restructuring has to be there. More funds have to be pumped in. More hospitals should come in the rural areas. And of course, mobile dispensaries. Yes, we have to reach into the hinterland of India, the tribal areas, to the neglected areas. Why not have mobile hospitals? I think India is going to have a medical revolution. And the world will thank us for building up the immune system. Native medicine should come up. Modern medicine should come. Integrate. I don't use the word integrated because it has a different meaning. I only say that whatever best practices we have in India, which has been proved during the COVID days, should be made applicable to the whole humanity. We should also make India a partner in the progress of the brave new world, which will come in the post-COVID days. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving the details about the healthcare system. And according to him, our healthcare system has proved during the COVID-19 that how robust it is, although it was not up to the mark initially pre-COVID area, but now because of the COVID, all medical fraternity, whether it's a doctor, nurse, ward boy, or paramedics, or even ASHA workers, they work day and night, they save the lives. And he also mentioned that our Ayush, which is the fruit of Ayurveda, which has given to the world how to increase the immunity. And this is why the positive impact of the COVID-19 on the healthcare system is that our healthcare system has geared up in such a way that now it is going to be the world hub of the healthcare in the world. Now, this is something very big because of this hub, the Indian economy, according to him, will definitely get a boost because the foreign tourism, the medical tourism will increase after the COVID, and they all would like to come to India. Earlier also they were coming, but now they will have more faith because they have seen the mortality rate, which is very, very less in comparison to all the most advanced in technology and otherwise countries like Europe or the UK or in USA, anywhere our mortality is very less. And this is because of the hard work of our medical fraternity, for which he has said 3 cheers and he kudos them. And so this is the positive impact of the COVID-19 on medical or the healthcare system. Now I would like to know from you the positive impact on education system in India, the COVID-19 impact.
Yes. You see, the new educational policy is being rolled out, and that is discussed in India all over. There are so many positive aspects to this policy. The basic concept of this policy is exactly what is there in the Kothari Commission's report also. India's destiny is being shaped in her classrooms. See, India's future is dependent on the students. It is said, if education is what remains, once you forget what you learn in the classroom, you have to learn from life. Indian education, according to Dr. Radhakrishnan, his Education Reforms Commission report was also there. He found that Indian education is unrelated to life. See, these two concepts, that is Kothari's India's destiny is being shaped in their classrooms, and Dr. Radhakrishnan's observation that education is removed from life, not related to life. These two critical gaps are sought to be bridged in the new education policy. Of course, your specific questions is education and COVID. But since education policy has been declared during the COVID days, I cannot differentiate the two because the two are interlinked. Probably anticipating COVID. I can't say that. See, the report lays emphasis on India-centric education. India-centric education does not mean that all our mythology is going to be paraded as scientific truth. No. Every nation has to have a nation-specific education program. And in this country, when we have such a wide treasure house of knowledge, concepts, why throw them out for the sake of an education system which we borrowed for just 200 years? I remember reading the biography of the Bishop Fisher of Agra, a British officer from the education department, told the bishop, when the bishop asked him, why do you change the system of education prevalent in India? The officer said, mistake to educate the blighters about India. Mistake to educate the blighters, but one must have an ample supply of clerks to rule this blasted country. See, blighters, blasted, clerks. This was the purpose of education. And we thought that's great. We thought that's a great education. Well, Macaulay is a thinker, no doubt about that. But what has been done? Our past, our culture, our tradition, our heritage has been discredited. It is like call the dog a bad name and hang it. They called Indian education a bad name and hang it. We have discovered that. COVID has taught us there is great things in your education. See your mother who taught us what is a good culinary system. You developed your immunity from that so we could face the unknown enemy bravely and win. Similarly, the education system was practical. See, now Indian education, I was a vice chancellor, I was for 8-10 years in charge of higher education. With all this background I am saying, if you ask me to rate higher education in India from on a scale of say 1 to 10, in my experience, I will now give it only 3 because we lag behind in research. But that was not the case. You know, in Takshila, before you enter the gate of the university, you know, only if you have a minimum benchmark of knowledge, you will be admitted. It is not the gatekeepers who question you. It is knowledge keepers. Before you enter the university, 10 questions will be put to you. If you cannot answer it satisfactorily, you will not even enter the university. Now, Gurukul, that's where I am coming to. What was Gurukul? It is nothing but practical. Everything is practical. You live life. You don't learn to live life. You learn from life. You live with the Guru. You do the daily chores. He takes you to the forest and explains what are the trees, what are the plants, what is the botanical importance. He takes you to the river to take bath. He teaches you there are 8 types of shaucha. You know, everything for practical life was taught. Then, you know, you had in the modern parlance what you call, you had a on-duty assignment. Practical. You had to be an intern. Well, the whole time you are an intern to the Guru. Finally, you have to have an achievement, a mission achieved. Then only the Guru will send you out. So it was based on research. It was based on creativity. We killed it by rote knowledge, but just only for 200 years. See, everybody knows Yajnavalkya, Vasishta, Bharadwaja, all the great munis. Who will remember Macaulay? Only those IAS officers who had to learn it for the general knowledge quiz. Who will remember? See, we have inherited a great tradition of education, which has stood the test of time. So that is why Kasturi Rangan said, India-centric education. India-centric education is a new Gurukul. And in this new Gurukul, what is the tool of education? The tool of education is the most advanced one, online. This is online Gurukul. India is adapting to the modern day. That is what India has always been doing. Therefore, I would say, our tradition, our culture, our education, which was rooted in life, rooted in heritage, let it come back. Integrate with the modern tools of science and technology. You bring in the concept of online education, online assessment. So the education pattern which COVID has taught us is be strongly footed in your traditions, but rise above that. Yes, we are able to rise above time as far as education is concerned. Therefore, I see before me the Indian student Once a new education policy is there, once the COVID experience is taken seriously and implemented, I would say that the Indian student will prove he is second to none in the world. Whenever there is any impregnable fortress of knowledge to be conquered, you tell the Indian student, go. They will surmount any insurmountable fortress of knowledge. Education is going to be India's in future. India is going to teach the world. The whole world is going to turn to India, where tradition and individual talent. This is not said by me, an Indian. This is said by the poet T.S. Eliot. What will constitute a success? Tradition and individual talent. Now we feel individual talent can do it. No. Individual talent and tradition. These two things are available as a natural commodity in India. Therefore, let us go back to the roots, think of a new educational system which will integrate into itself the modern tools of learning. India is going to emerge as a leader even in the education field in the post-COVID India. Thanks to COVID for making us realize our inner potentials. Now, one more thing, Mr. Goel. If we still go after the Western education, we feel we are getting what we want. You know, once God asked the rats, what is the boon that you want from me? The rats had recently seen on the television an advertisement about roller skate. So rats said, please give us roller skates because they can move fast. So rats thought we can now, when we hear the cat coming near, we can speed up if we have a roller skate. Done, given. Then after a month, God asked the cats, what is the boon that you need? We don't need any boon. The boon which we gave last month was enough for us. Which is that boon? Now our food is coming in roller skates into our mouth. Therefore, do we want Western education in roller skates? That's it. Listen, that's a decision to be taken by our children, not by us. Let the new gen decide what is the type of education which they want. They have gold in their own house. Yes, if you want to go outside for a little silver, okay. Indian education gives little gold in place of much silver. Indian education takes the student brick and turns him marble. That is a metamorphosis which takes place if we take Indian education seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving about the impact on Indian education. Although he says that new education policy has nothing to do with the COVID, but it has been released during the COVID. And he says now everybody is realizing the traditional method of the teaching, that is the Gurukul Parampara. But because of the COVID-19, the online education, which is also be a part of our new education policy. And he says that by the mixture of all these, we are going to be a hub for the education also, because the Western education, which were coming to us on a rolling skate, will not be acceptable. And now students will has come to know during this COVID-19 the values of our old education system, and which is been given emphasis in this new education system policy, where we are, it's a India-centric education system, which we were following earlier for last 200 years, more than that, because of the Macaulay, because he wanted that the Indian education system should be westernized, and they always try to see that how to praise the Western countries. But now, because of the new education policy, which has come during the COVID-19 period, definitely it is India-centric, and we will know that how valuable our own traditions, our own old education, which will be beneficial for everyone. And the day is not far when all other countries will look towards us, and they will come to us for our education to get their children trained in our education system. Thank you, Dr. Bose, for giving your views about the education. And I'm really amazed to see the knowledge of yours in all the fields, because on this Sunday only I had a long discussion with the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University on the new education policy, and the way he has also explained in everything but although you mentioned that you are not in this field, you worked as some senior officer in this field, but the knowledge which you have, really hats off to you. Now, I would like to, again, a very, very controversial topic, and that is what you think is a positive impact on Indian politics of the COVID-19.
Well,
We have 5 minutes for this segment now. I know
okay.
that there is lots of things you have to say, but so
They say politics is the last refuge of a scoundrel. But in a country like India, now that is becoming the first refuge. I think that's the difference between international politics and Indian politics. Now, I do not want to run down the politicians as a whole, but those breed of politicians which came to India immediately after independence, those who were imbued with patriotism, nationalism, sacrifice, I think that generation has gone. Now, politics is there. People say it is not politics, but politics. People are taken for a ride. That is not what people are voted for. But I tell you, there is this agency politics now in India. See, whether I rule or you rule, there is an understanding between the ruling people. May not be at the center because there the change of government is not so fast. But in the state governments, the IRM, GRMs, they rule the rules. Today you rule, you do corruption. The opposition criticizes you. Next time they rule, they do corruption. You criticize them. But there is no action. Like T.S. Eliot's people, again, the murder in the cathedral says, king rule or baron rule, for us the poor, there is no action. What do these people do? They come to power, making promises to the common man. Again, if serious things can be made clear by lighter stuff. There was one guy who was employed in a hospital where for the first time, it's a few years back, for the first time that wonder machine called vacuum cleaner came. Earlier, everything was by brooms. The vacuum cleaner was important. One young guy was given training in that. And he was the pride of the place because he is using an instrument which nobody else knows how to use. But one thing, new equipment is there in the ICU, imported from America. Ventilator, oxygen giving, I don't know what are all the things there, life-saving equipment. Every day, between 10 and 10:30, they found that the patients in the ICU died. Inquiry was made. Even the manufacturers, the equipment came from America. Expert doctors came, but they couldn't see it happens. Then somebody said, maybe this is some voodoo, You engage a magician or whatever it is, traditional voodoo specialist, whatever it is. Then the owner of the hospital, an old priest, he did his own research. You know what happened? At 10 o'clock, this guy will come with vacuum cleaner. He take off all other gadgets from the plug and plug his vacuum cleaner. That is what happened led to the death. Now, the politician, is there any resemblance to the politician? They enter into the ICU where the people are. They take off the plug of the life-saving equipment and puts his plug, the vacuum cleaner, his money-spending equipment. I think this is what has happened. I think politics has to be cleansed. That is an aging stable. A new generation will come and cleanse it. Let me end on an optimistic note. Do you think the young generation is not watching? They are not watching only the computer screens. They are watching everything. Once they take a decision, one click, all the politicians will vanish into thin air. Anybody has got any doubt? Ask Hosni Mubarak. Where the Jasmine Revolution took place, one click, a 30-year-old government is off. So new politicians, you remember, the young people do not need an old leadership. Better quit now before they throw you out. I see before me the 30-year-old youngsters, male and female, they will come and rule the states and rule the country. That is the time when we'll say, Janda uncha raha hamara. Our new generation watching. Give it to them. Give the power to them. They know how to rule. Don't misrule them. Don't misrule over them. That change is sure going to come. Once the youngsters come to power, like WBH, I would say, all change utterly. A terrible beauty is born. That terrible beauty is awaiting for us in Indian democracy when the new generation comes to power. And the days are not far away.